Hey guys, hope you're doing well. My name is Brittany Powers, and today I'm going to be talking to you about tips for success as a Beachbody coach. So if you guys don't know, I am a 2015 top 10 elite coach and founder of Team Empower. So I am actually doing this call particularly for my tribe, my team. So it's just a little pre-recorded this week because I'm going to be traveling in less than 48 hours. So I wanted to talk about today three big tips that have helped me become very successful in my business. And I know that if you focus on these three things every single day, they will help your business also. And no, they are not the four vital behaviors. So you need to be doing those also. But these go a little bit deeper than that, I think. I think these are three very broad things that need to definitely be you should be working on yourself as a coach. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, I'll go into it. I have to kind of laugh at my ring light over there. Sorry, over there on my whiteboard. It looks so funny. I'll kind of try to tilt that down there. So, oh, that looks strange. Anyhow, number one, tips to being successful, being vulnerable, sharing hardships, hard times you have gone through, opening up, things that you don't want to necessarily talk about. You might think of them as wounds or as scars, but being vulnerable is a huge part of running your business. Whether you see it or not right now, if you're a brand new coach watching, this is really what makes you you. The struggles that you have gone through up until this very date and time have made you who you are today. If you look back 20, 30, 40, however many years old you are right now, everything that you've been through has made you who you are today. And that's what makes you so unique. You've got to realize that being vulnerable and opening up and talking about things that make you feel uncomfortable are going to inspire people. It's going to make them question if they can do it too, because you're making a life change and you're being a product of the product and you're having a no excuses mentality. They need to know that you have been through dark times also. Now, they don't always have to be these super, depressing stories. Like, you don't have to think that that's the whole concept behind being vulnerable. The concept behind it is showing people that no matter what you've been through, you can make this lifestyle change. You can become healthier and happier and love yourself. So being vulnerable, sharing your struggles, I know for me, I'm trying to think back into my beginning coach days. For me, it was like, what am I going to talk about? What made me who I am today? My father passing at a very, very young age. I was 11 years old when he passed. That was something I look back and I know I ate my emotions. During the time I didn't think about it, but looking back, I know I ate my emotions because that was the only thing I could control. My mother and my stepdad controlled a lot of what I did, but the only thing I felt I had control over was what I put in my mouth. So that shaped me kind of, I think, shaped me into who I ended up becoming in my high school years and in my early college years and when I met my husband. And when I met my husband, I wasn't healthy. I might have been considered skinny fat or, a little overweight. But another struggle that I share about too is the fact that, because I didn't like who I saw in the mirror, I always said no to date nights. I was never really affectionate with my husband, or if I was, it was behind closed doors. I didn't like social settings with him. I didn't like going over for family functions because I really didn't like what I looked like, what I saw in the mirror. And so those are two prime examples of the things that I have gone through and the struggles that I've had, that, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. We've all lost a loved one. We've all looked in the mirror and maybe not have liked who was looking back at us. We've all had marriage struggles if you're married, or at least some type of relationship struggle based on you not feeling confident about yourself. So that's just an example. But I know all of you watching this, whoever you are, you all can relate to that. So you need to be vulnerable. You need to be opening up about what you've gone through, and really it really makes you relatable. It makes you human, you know? It shows people that you're not just portraying perfection because you've been through some things in your life that have got you to where you're at today, which is hopefully stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, than before you sign up as a coach. So that's number one, vulnerability and being vulnerable. Number two, our business is about relationship building. You've got to be focusing on building relationships. So you guys all know how to plant seeds. You know, that's a term that is used a lot. But the relationship building is really when you take it to the next level, when you're really providing someone just maybe even a shoulder to cry on. You're providing ears, letting them open up to you. You're asking open-ended questions. You're really showing them that you care, and you're putting work into this new relationship that you've started building. It does take two people. You guys all know that, but you always want to ask questions. That's, I even think, how me and my husband, how have we had a successful, 10-year marriage now? And it's because we always are communicating with each other. We're always asking each other questions, asking how you're doing, how you're feeling, how can we make things better? We are by no means perfect, but we're always working on ways to improve our relationship. So it's the same thing when you're meeting new people, when you've met a new friend, relationship with your family, whoever it is. It's about building those relationships and not selling anything. Obviously, you want to help them reach their goals, but you have got to realize that if you don't ask them what their goals are, where do you go from there? So that has to be obviously a prime question, but getting to know who they are, what type of family were they raised around, where do they live? Maybe they live in a completely different climate than you, and, working outside just isn't going to happen because it's snowing half the time. But those, where they live, how old are they, how many kids do they have, really, really focusing on relationship building and seeing how you can always add value to their life. Make suggestions based on maybe what they're struggling with. But you won't know all those things unless you ask those questions and focus on building a really awesome relationship with the people you talk to. And lastly, consistency. This often gets labeled as like the golden nugget, as the, other vital behavior that isn't named or dubbed a certain number. But honestly, with me, guys, I've stayed consistent since day one. Yes, there have been days where I am completely exhausted and I just kind of check out, but I always come back the next day. I always show up, at least on social media somehow. I let people know I'm there. I let people know that, I get sick, but I'm still going to try to make healthier eating choices that day. Maybe if I couldn't work out, I let people know when I've fallen off track, because it happens. I am not perfect at all. I never want to portray that. But being consistent and showing up on social media, and I want to emphasize social media, letting people know that you're present on social media every single day so that you're not out of their feed for an extended amount of time and they don't forget about you. I think that is essential. I think that is definitely key. So being consistent, on social media, being consistent in your team pages, being consistent in the groups that you're in, whether that's, a success club group, whether that's a leader group, whether that is whatever other group chat thread, thing you are a part of, showing up, getting on team calls live, listening to the National Wake Up Call recording if you can't get on, writing down takeaways, but consistently showing up and putting in the work, your 4 vital behaviors that you should be doing every single day, and not going to bed unless you cross those things off. And I know that I have run my business that way since day one, and that's how I've become successful, and that's how our team has become successful. So I just want to do the best and try to help duplicate what I've done and have you all duplicate it and share with your teams and your downline and things like that. We'll just take this to the next level. But consistency would definitely have to be in there as the top 3 things. So I know this was kind of short and sweet, under 10 minutes so far, but hopefully you guys have gotten some good takeaways from this, being vulnerable, building those relationships and really focusing on them, paying it forward. letting people know that you're not there to just get a sale from them. That is, I hate, oh, it just like gets my like blood boiling when, I hear new coaches or potential coaches saying, I don't think I can coach because I don't know how to sell things, or I have no one to sell to. That should never be your focus in the beginning. You really need to dig deep and find that why and really, really be passionate about helping people and expecting nothing in return. And I know I've done that since day one. And I know a lot of coaches that are doing that, a lot of successful coaches too, because this business is truly about paying it forward. We are all product of the products. If you're a Beachbody coach and you're actively working your business, you know you should be a product of the product. So you know it works. Now what you need to do is share that and pay it forward the way your coach paid it forward to you. So if you're expecting a sale at the end of a conversation, it's not going to happen. You have to get your mind off that and get your mind on really paying it forward and helping someone by changing their life one day at a time, one challenge group at a time, one check-in at a time, one conversation at a time. So anyhow, thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.